All right. How's everything going over there?
It's going well. I'm in Montana, both, and very nice place. Very, very good air. Very nice people. Had some shows last night, then tonight, and then head down your way. So it's good.
Yeah. Well, if you've ever been cremated, as they say, then you'll know what it feels like here right now.
Well, I will be cremated. I don't want to take up all that space. Plus, I don't want people messing with my body. I've had enough
Yeah.
of that. So it's very hot there. Are you saying it's very hot there?
Yes, we are under a heat advisory, so it's a good time to be indoors and have some good laughs, right?
Yeah, it's very good time to be indoors with air conditioning for good life. We were down there. I took my kids down to for our Fourth of July
Mhm.
week holiday. We went to a place called Lake Travis outside of Austin,
Yes, in Austin.
and
Mhm.
that was it was a particularly terrible week for the state of Texas. But well, first of all, I'm like kids. I'm a single dad. My kids are 12 and 9. Like, I know where we'll go. It's sunny all the time. We'll get a lake. We'll get a boat. Get out there. The first day out on the boat, it was raining so hard that I made a video because it's so ridiculous. But uh, then I said, let's turn around, go back to the dock. And then the rain bullets were hit.
Oh,
We had a time, and it's good for my kids to know that bad things go on in the world, and we have to figure out ways to help people. They had on that lake is Mattress Mac, who is a guy
yeah, yeah.
a guy I know from mental health and chemical dependency speeches around the country and going around. We talked to groups, but it reminded me the first time my kids got a lemonade stand. I mean, a real one was
Mhm.
when the hurricane in Houston years ago.
Mhm.
Uh, since then, they have. I got a mobile lemonade stand. I have to go with them. We set it up. They do the thing, and then they donate to whatever worthy cause. Again, it reminds them stuff goes on in the world. We're very lucky.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, which is a lot of it's pretty bad, but
Yeah.
also can make for decent comedy, right?
Yes. Yes. Of course. And at least with my act, it's very autobiographical, and because I assume people know some things about me. They probably know that I'm not happily married for 40 years, and with grandchildren, and everything's got perfect. So I owe it to them to be honest. And then there are some things that maybe people heard about or read about or kind of remember, and then I go into those things that I was there, and it's a very humbling that people come out and to see you perform with something, and I owe it to them. So far, everybody's had a great time. It's reminded me that I need to go out and see stand-up comedy more often because I get lazy. I go out before I started this tour last couple of years. I went out 3 days a week in Los Angeles, the Improv, the Ice House Comedy Store, and every time it'd be a show of me and four other people or five other people, and I'd be there and I'd watch them, and they were so good and so different than me. And I thought, I got to get out to see stand up comedy. But it's a good thing for your soul. There is a lot of crappy things happening in the world right now. So stand up comedy is very helpful to get a little break from that because we're all, no matter where you live or what party you're on or whatever, it's awful for all of us.
Yeah. So do you get into the politics and all that kind of stuff? Because a little different here in Texas, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I also feel like, people that come to my shows are probably not expected a MAGA show, maybe my ex-wife shows, but I also
Yeah.
don't want to, I do lightly touch on it, on a couple of things I think are funny, both sides. And I think that, I've known Donald Trump for 40 some years. So I've been the Playboy Mansion with Donald Trump. So I think I have a right to tell some stories, but I'm equally as rough on the other side. But it's not really about. I'll touch on it. I'll feel how the audience is, And then I move on to being a single dad being 66, single dad with a 12 and a 9-year-old, and what comes with that, and how did I get here? And so, I had 4 ex-wives right at the top. I'm so grateful that people come to my shows because I really need the money, and
Yeah.
it's so cool because if you have 3 ex-wives, you can still kind of go women, right, buddy, women. But if you have 4 ex, you go, oh my gosh, it's me. It is me. It's me. 8 years. I'm not sure the kids would let me. My son is always like, Daddy, why don't you have a Lambo? And I'm like, son, I have a Lambo, but 8 years ago I got you guys. And court is very, very expensive. So, but very, very worth it. We have a.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like your shirts too. The stay sober. That's yeah.
Well, I'm sober. And so my son, who's 12, he follows a lot of YouTubers. And he got me this shirt. And he's like, Dad, yeah, because I know you like sober. So I got you this shirt. I don't know if it was the person named Danny Duncan. I don't know. I watched a little bit of the YouTube. They do a pretty good job. Anyway, so I wore it out. And when I came home, he's like, Dad, guess what? You're going to be so embarrassed. That's the Pornhub logo. And I'm like, that very well. It would. The worst thing though, he got me this shirt because he's really, he's clever. It said, "Do bills, not drugs." It had a red heart, and I take him to school. I'm out there with the other moms, have a little circle, getting all the gossip and everything. And I wore that shirt a couple times, and then I had the parent teacher conference, and my son, I'm so proud to graduate from 5th grade this year. But I was sitting with a teacher who's probably 27, and she looks at my shirt and goes, "Where'd you get the shirt?" I go, "Oh, Jack's got it for me." And what's that mean? What do you know what a MILF is? I go, "Yeah, it's like a attractive middle-aged mother." And then she said exactly what the initials went. I had no idea. I go, okay, I'll find out. But I also thought about the other moms. They're like, creepy Tom Arnold with that shirt, really. But you learn a lot from your kids. I don't know all the anagrams. LOL is, I think, laugh out loud, but they write, you know, they write, my son, I'm going to try to tell this the most appropriate way. My son plays Fortnite with his buddy. We were best friends still, him and his buddies, and play Fortnite or NBA 2K or whatever. And I walk into my own house. I'm like, "Hey, son." He's like, "Dad, quiet. Shh, please. I don't want my friends to hear you." I'm like, "Okay, that's some BS there, man." And I sit in the kitchen with his sister. And then one of his friends will see a picture of me and Tupac Shakur or me and Snoop Dogg on the internet. And he'll come in the kitchen, "Daddy, will you say hi to my friends?" I'm like, "No, screw your friends, man. You're in or you're out with me." The other way is every relationship I've ever had. So he is usually a good boy. But he used my email to get a Fortnite account, and which he got kicked off. So in other words, I got kicked off. I don't even know how to play Fortnite. And the gamer handle was Diddy Party 69. I was like,
Oh no.
I was up. I'm like, son, he knows the Diddy thing drives me crazy. What he does when I see something like that, I sit down and tell him, "Here's what the real deal is on that. You should know when you think it's so funny." But we're driving to school. I'm like, "Son, do you know what 69 is?" Because all of his friends have something 69, And I go, "Do you know what it is?" He goes, "No." I said, "Son, it's a sexual thing. Do you want to know?" And he's like, "No, no, no." And my daughter, the backstage goes, "I want to know, Dad." And I'm like, "Okay," because I will answer every question, but appropriately. And so I'm like, "Well, honey, it's 2 people are married. They're in love. They're married in the love. And they're in their PJs, and one stands on their head. That's as far as I can get that to you." You would, oh my God. There's no right way to answer that, like gross or yeah, we did. It was really, there's no way to answer that.
Ah, no.
My kids have never seen their mom and I hug. Like it's been so long. She was out of the house a long time ago. So I don't have to deal with that, which a lot of parents that get divorced, their kids are very sad because they aren't all together. And so I'm grateful I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, well, you got to get the cool dad points wherever you can, and from your career or wherever you can, right? That's the hardest thing to get.
It really is. And I've been in 150 movies, four good ones, but I've done all these things. I had a sports show, all these things that were super cool. I know a lot of people, but being a father is by far the most satisfying, rewarding. I get so much self-esteem out of it. I'm good at it too. I am a great father, and there are a lot of great fathers out there. There's some crappy fathers taking us down, but but I know it. My kids know it, and so far I make mistakes, as you do. But I try not to make the same mistakes over and over. Example: one time my daughter, her baby shampoo was out, and I was giving her a bath. I'm like, I grab my shampoo. This will work. It gets in her eyes. She starts crying. She's so mad at me. I've never made that mistake since. And one time I was brushing her hair. She gets a knot in the back, and I pulled it, and she cried. It hurt. I've never done. I figured out other ways to brush your hair. You hold on to this, that. You put some lotion or oil in there. She brushes her own hair now. But I, one time I put the wrong shoes on the wrong feet. This when she was in preschool, did not know it. And then when I came to pick her up, I saw her walking towards the car like that. They didn't notice it either, apparently. And I'm like, I'm gonna try not to do that again.
Mhm. Well, it's really fun watching your career and just seeing all the different phases of it, and people look up to what you've done for years and they think, see, that's what I want to do. But I mean, you just seem just keep going, and I love it. And so, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that wants to do what you do?
Well, it depends on which thing. People are like, how do I become a writer? I say, write. That's how you become a writer. How do I write a book? Write a book. Don't wait for people to come knocking at your door. I understand you got a good book up here or a good script up here. The process of actually doing it, writing anything, thank you notes, anything is such a good thing for your soul. Just sitting down, putting it to paper. Um, if someone said, I want to be a comedian, I'd say, go write up a little something about your life, 5 minutes of material, and then get to one of these old mic nights and work on it and see how it feels when you don't do well. You assume you're going to kill, but you don't. So everybody goes through that no matter what level you're at. But you have to love that. You have to love the stuff, the rejection, the mistakes with acting or stand up. And then you got to push through it because you just want to be really good at what you do. At the end of the day, because everybody talks about being famous or getting this big break. When you do get your big break, I think people do, when the lights are on, you better be ready. You better know how to do it. You better not freak out. You better not, any kind of situation that could be thrown at you. You've already gone through that. So that's are you a comedian? Is that what's happening?
No, no, not at all. I'm just funny looking.
Oh,
I'm
you're fine.
not, I'm not
You're
funny.
fine. But there is, here's the thing. When kids first started school out the LA school system, you get a lot of your dream, any dream you got through, any dream, live your dreams. Don't wait, and I was always like, okay, let's cut that in half. Let's cut that in half. I don't want my kids to be disappointed that whatever. But then the more I thought about it, I thought every dream I ever had when I was a kid, growing up in Iowa, every single one has come true. And they seemed crazy at the time. So I have a hard time telling my kids, yeah, you can't do this because, I went for this small farm town. I worked on the kill floor of a meat packing plant for 3 years after high school to save money to get to the University of Iowa, where they had a stage. And I knew I get up there, I get on that stage, I'm famous in 2 weeks. That's not how it goes. But things have worked out very well. And so, a lot of my buddies stayed at the meatpacking plant. They retire from there. They get pensions. They do that. That makes sense for them. They have families. They started families early. But that wasn't my destiny, as it were. So I'm very grateful that people along the way, in junior high, maybe ninth grade, the drama teacher at my school. I played football, and you couldn't do football, basketball, and drama. There's just no. The schedules were messed up too, and there's no way I was doing that. So Jane Carr was her name. she came up, and I never had a mother growing up, so
Mm.
women like that, very curious about them. And she had blonde, beautiful hair, kind of for a Tumble Iowa, fancy. She wore kind of blouses with you could kind of see, because I'd never actually seen a boob, but you kind of got the feeling like it was a little glamorous. And she came up and said, you could do this thing. I believe in you. You can do the drama stuff, because in class you have to do some. You can do the speech stuff. And in Iowa they had state competitions where you'd have speech, or make a speech, or act out a single thing, or two people acting, and they got awards. And so I started doing that, and it really paid off, because
Mm.
I needed one person to believe in me. And then later at the Sundance Film Festival, they had a bunch of actors, me, Daniel Day-Lewis, bring our teachers, the teacher that inspired us. And so I brought her in there, and she's still very attractive, still have a
Mm.
crush on her. But, you do need people along the way. And my son, I never said you have to play football, or be in plays or anything. But he is, because he's 6'1", 230, size 14 shoes, just graduated from fifth grade.
Wow.
He has gravitated towards that. The coach is a great guy. I am the assistant coach
Mm.
on all of his sports, only because they have a draft, and they can't get my son for sure on the team unless his dad's the assistant. But I do love it. And I see, these coaches are just killing it. And I'm so lucky that my kids get to do this stuff. My son, because he's so big, he was like, I want to be quarterback. I'm like, because he knew I was quarterback. I was much smaller. And I'm like, okay, we'll practice. You and
Mm.
I'll practice. But he came in there, and the coach saw him, and he's like, you should get really good at offensive line, maybe tight end too. That way you'll get in the offense and work on your footwork. And he accepted it. If I said, no, please, son, that's not going to work out, he accepted it. And my daughter went out for her first play last year. I didn't insist on it. Aladdin, she ran for student council, won. Those are things that would make me nervous, just because
Mhm.
those are the kind of things made me nervous as a kid. And then I directed my first movie in May,
Yeah.
April, May, and she read the script, and she's 9, and she said, I think I should be in this movie. There's a part of a flower girl. I think I should do it. I go, you're absolutely right. I'll have you and your friend Millie. You guys could be like the co-flower, because I assume she wants her buddy to be there, because dad's always, I'm on the set looking at stuff. And then I said, I'll call Millie's dad. He's a single dad too. So the next day she's like, did you call Millie's dad? I go, I'm so sorry, honey. Let me do it right now. She's like, no, don't do it. I think I should. So this is my first movie. It should just be me. And so
Yeah.
it was before she a bunch of paper. It was practicing throwing it, like the rose
Mhm.
petals. And she did great. She did great. And then that night after we were done filming, she's like, I think I should, can I come back to work with you tomorrow? And I said, well, yeah, but there's no parts, because I don't think there's any extras or anything. It's like, what if I wore a hoodie and walked in the background? Like, I don't think so, but there's that. So if you come with me, you got 4 hours of school, which day one, she walked in there. I go, this is a teacher. She's like, oh, dang it. But she came, and I realized I was filming in a theater, and could be people in the back, right behind the main people. And so she did that, and I said, I feel bad you have to hang out in the hair and makeup and the school, and I'm out here. She said, oh no, I like it. I like all this. And then once in a while, I'll see a golf cart coming towards me, and I go, oh my god, is that Quinn? Did she come up and check these out? She really enjoyed them. The down to people, the repetition gets to people. But if you could enjoy that and try to make it better, then I had to edit the movie. So I bring it, I watch it with her. I make notes. At 12 minutes 16 seconds, I need this line fixed, or this line fixed. There's a better line. So I made all my notes, turned them in, and then without me knowing, she went in my office, replayed the movie, and made her notes. And it would be like at 12:14, his throat looks weird, like stuff like that. And I thought, that's it. And then I went to 12:14. His throat did look weird. So she understands his work. She understands But right now it's something she wants to say. My son, I said, you know how many, he wants to be, first he wanted to be a professional basketball player. Then
Hmm.
all his buddies do that. I go, the odds of that, I'm not going to discourage you, but you have to get very good. And same with football. And now he's like, I could get a scholarship. He might be able to, I'm not going to, he might be able to get a scholarship for the University of Iowa one day. But, as long as he's, going for that, and knows it's hard work, he knows what the odds are, and you just do it for fun, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got to ask you because you're coming to Dallas. My co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys. Caught the Hail Mary,
Oh,
went
yeah.
Hall of Fame. Yeah,
Very
and
well. Very
so
great.
this is the 50th anniversary of the Hail Mary, actually. And so we got to ask you your Hail Mary moment, the moment in your life or career you just had to go for it and it worked out for you.
There have been several. By the way, the Hail Mary. Oh, God. I've been trying to say it. And in 2008 Super Bowl, we had our version of a
Oh
Hail
yeah.
Mary, where that's what's great about sports. It's better than life because there's a beginning, middle, and end, and there's rules. And in that Super Bowl, it was in 2008, but for some reason I think called it 2007 Super Bowl. But we knew we had no chance. The first time I went to a Giants Super Bowl, I think it was '91, maybe. A buddy of mine's dad bought the team, Bob Tish, and he and I were good buds, and we'd go to Super Bowls together. And this before his sons got super interested in it. Of course, they own the team now; they have to be. But we went down. I think it was in Tampa, and our hotel is in Orlando. They owned a hotel in Orlando, so we drove over the game. Trent Dilfer was the opposing quarterback. We're like, we got these guys. So I was on the bus, family bus on the way to game. Got it. We're gonna win the Super Bowl, and they crushed us. And it was so bad that I could just sense from the families and even from my buddy. I didn't ride the bus back to Orlando. I hitchhiked. I flagged me down. It was so depressing. So when we got to the next Super Bowl, Tom Brady undefeated. There's no freaking way we're going to win this thing. And so the pressure was off. So me and the family, Mayor Bloomberg, a whole bunch of people, we're just having fun during the game. There's no way. I don't think I even tried to get field passes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to go down there and watch those guys celebrating again. And so it's about a minute and a half, a miracle happened, the helmet catch, and we're like, what? And then Flaxico had to catch that touchdown. There's no way, Eli should have been tackled. He had his jersey. He's not fast, but it's just miracles. And so we went, the Americans, the Tish kids, and everybody stormed the field. They have good security on the Super Bowl field.
Yeah.
There were so many of us, and it was so great because Michael Strahan, yeah, I'd known him since he was a rookie. He really started on our show,
Yeah.
And just for everybody, for Bob Tish, everybody, it just was so exciting, and it showed you got to get in there. You don't know until you get in there and give your best. I'm trying to think. There's been a few things. Well, I started as a stand-up. I met my first ex-wife, Roseanne, when I was 23 in the Midwest because our club owner said, I went to Denver. I saw a woman. It's very, very funny. I'm bringing her to town next week. You guys are going to hit it off. And we did. She was such a great stand-up comedian. And she was so different than me. She was like a feminist. And she had a mother with 3 kids and all this other stuff I came from a meatpacking plant. That the reason she liked me is because I would kick somebody's butt if they messed with her. But it was fun, and then we would go on the road every couple months and do all this stuff and party as people do. Great fun. And then she asked me to start writing jokes for her. I never, I was like, well, I know her character. I'll do that. And so the first time I saw a joke that I'd written on Johnny Carson, probably 1985, first time she went on there, I'm like, wow, I'm back in Minneapolis. Well, that is so satisfying. So I came out to write her show, which it should have been scarier than it was. I'd never written a sitcom. I'd written stuff for her, but you figure that out. So I got that down. I was a comic, now I'm a writer. That's what I do. I get paid. And then the other writers are like, you have to be on the show. you have to act in the show because everybody knows you're a couple of people will watch. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do that. We write a part for me. Arnie Thomas is just like my, and I I rehearse with those guys. They're such great actors, and I'm not killing it. You know, John Goodman, Laurie Metcalf, Stella Parsons, Roseanne, everybody, and I'm just not. It's not quite. It's not there. And one of the other executive producers said to Roseanne, "Yeah, you know what? You're taking. I forgot emasculating him, making him do this because he's getting it, and you're destroying him as a man." And so that night we had the network run through on a Thursday, and on Wednesday night we went home, and she's like, "You can do this. I know you do. Walk in, and this is good advice for you. If you're in a scene, walk in balls first." That's what she said. Walk in that door. Is your room. That is your thing. And it really, and I got it. I got it very well. Where even the guy's like, "Okay, I was wrong," but it was scary. And I was like, "I already have this one thing. I don't want to embarrass her. I don't want to embarrass this, but I just got to give it hell." And you know, I think there's been some other Hail Marys. The one I talk about on stage in Valentine's Day, 1994. Roseanne and I were getting a divorce. We're kind of waiting for the other person to file, you know, out of respect, wait for her. And I thought, this is my first marriage, and I don't want to walk away from this knowing that I had not done everything. You know, then I'll have a clear conscience. And so I had my tattoo artist come over, and this is definitely Hail Mary, and tattoo Roseanne's face from my nipples to my collarbone. Nipples and collarbones hurt like hell with that. There's only one of them. I hurt more, but 7 hours. Her face, you could go, Tom Arnold, worst tattoo ever. And so in my mind, she'd walk in, I'd go, "Whoa." And then I'd show her that. She'd go, "Oh my God, I just remembered how much I loved you. I'm sorry. Listen, what happened in real life is I pull it open and she goes, can I say asshole?"
Yeah.
Oh, he just kept walking. And I'm like, "Oh no, now I'm an asshole with it, Roseanne. There's no bigger one. No woman will ever have sex with me." So, I started getting it removed immediately. It took a year and a half, painful, but it was worth it. And this is Google it. I'm not being me. She had a tattoo on that said "Property of Tom Arnold," which may be the fourth largest dealer in California. You can borrow money with that kind of collateral. So that was a Hail Mary. Deborah since got a wife or a girlfriend tattooed. I don't recommend people. I got my kids.
Yeah, I love that.
Get your game, get this if you are one of those. Get whatever you want. Get something that's going to be there. And so that was one of the many dumb things I've done.
I love it. Well, you know, one of the last things I just wanted to ask you, what do you keep in mind that keeps you on the right path always? Because, you know, there's always ups and downs. There's always craziness going on, especially, you know, in that line of work. So what is it that kind of keeps you on task?
Well, it's gratitude. It's what keeps me sober, keeps me my mental health. You know, because things aren't always easy. You don't always get a job or something bombs that you've started, and I mean bombs. There was a year, I don't know what it's year 96 or something, where I had 4 movies I started. I did way too many things because you're insecure. You're like, "Oh, they're gonna pay me $1 million, they'll pay me 2, they'll pay me 5 million to do the stupids. I will do that." Now they did not do well. And on Saturday mornings, your agent calls you with the numbers from the thing. And I remember I don't know if it's Carpool. I mean, people like these movies now, which is something I wish I'd have known then. But one of the movies, Big Bully, maybe, he calls and it was the worst news of the first. And I go, "Well, it could never be that bad again." And I was wrong. A week later, it was worse. So I think about that a lot. I also think, look at all the opportunities I've had. Are you kidding me? So I don't, I kind of stay out of it. You know, I don't control people. I do like to get opportunities. I don't control results. I don't ask my friends, "You got this movie, maybe I should." I have done stuff like that before. Or when somebody else gets cast, I'm like, man, I could have been better at that, because that's just not that there's a reason that they were cast. Um,
Mhm.
I don't, the thing about stand up is so satisfying because it is just you, one person, and you are sharing stuff you've written or stuff from your life. It is so personal. So it's very satisfying that people like it. And I do a thing at the end, I do an hour on stage. A guy Max, he opens up. And then at the end, 'cause I have a heart camp, biggest heart camp in America for kids with heart defects and heart disease. So I sell T-shirts.
Yeah.
I have ice cube trays, which live for True Life. But I say, you stop by and say I'll take a picture with everybody, whether you buy a shirt or not. But because I share so much about my life, people feel safe sharing incredibly personal or tragic
Mhm.
things with me. And that I realize that I do that. That goes on longer than the show, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours where I'm
Mhm.
sitting there, each person in the line. And I really get, selfishly, I really get a lot out of that, because you do feel crazy things have happened, whether it be, my ex swatting me and the kids. So, not, you know, uh, that's not ideal. Or all the other police stuff. My kids, by the way, want to be police. I think my son would like to see it sometime. But other people, I think I can't talk about things in my life because nobody would get it. But there are people, not everybody, but people come up and share intimate things, or they tell me how they got sober or how long they've been sober, or
Mhm.
share what happened right before that, or people that have been abused in other ways will come up and talk about that, because I'm talking about my childhood. So it's very nice people to take the time, and not everybody screwed up, not everybody has a
Yeah.
terrible, people are doing great, and they're there together, these couples that you're like, oh, I see, that this all makes sense. But it's I'm very honored that happens. So I don't get out about, when you have kids, you're doing all kinds of kid crap. I don't have a lot of time spent around adults, but when I'm on the road, I do. This is my adult time, and I'm in until they're done, and
Yeah.
very important. I miss that. I do have some single mom friends, I will say,
Mhm.
because for your kids to see a woman being nice to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still think all women try to you or whatever they do, like, and their mom's like, she's not a small woman, but long wingspan, but
Mhm.
these women to be nice to me, and they're like, okay, that's, people do that. My son gets a little weird when they're really nice to me, like,
Yeah.
people say something and come up and say something. It's good for my ego, but it's he's not he's not ready to let me date yet, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're certainly excited about the ex-wife tour at Hyenas Comedy Club. It's going to be great this weekend. We're looking forward to seeing you in Dallas. Anything else we need to know about maybe what we'll hear, or anything that you're looking forward to doing in Dallas before we let you go?
Well, we met some people from Dallas and Fort Worth on our little vacation up outside of Austin, and my daughter made a friend, and they shade stuff. So my daughter was begging to come. Apparently, I said she could, and so I'm still trying to. If she comes, she'll see her friend. They were very nice people. I don't. We were by the pool. My kids and I came down, and I'm aware that there are people, and I'm aware that they know who I am. That's why I don't take my shirt off. But I can hear families talking with each other, and there's a grandpa. There's all these, very close. And then their daughter was extraordinarily nice to my daughter. Asked her to play the volleyball thing with the friend. And so I went up to the mom. I said, your daughter is incredibly generous and kind to my daughter. So we start talking. So they live in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So that whole family's coming down. And if I can bring Quinn, I will. Otherwise, I promise her I will get back down there, because you're through Dallas. Everybody that travels go through Dallas Fort Worth a lot.
Oh yeah.
So we'll do it. But I really appreciate you doing this with me today,
Yeah.
buddy.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you at Hyenas. I'll be there, so I'll make sure I come and say hi.
Definitely do that. Thank you, brother.
Okay,
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you.